And 1. Opposition is on a slippery slope. First, they talked about how without glorification and admiration, there will not be any courage. And then they also mentioned the fact that society will collapse and cannot develop because of this inability to glorify this courage in society. However, the main focus of this debate should be about how in this fast-paced society, how can a human self-esteem be boosted and stay true to themselves? Most importantly, how their character will be appreciated by the public, not under some expectations that society sets up. And by this, our side strongly propose 3 important ideologies. First of all, is that people should not be defined by the level of their bravery or whether they feel comfortable in doing something. Second, feared and scaredness of something should not necessarily be a bad thing because it's a normal part in humans' lives and cannot be ignored. And just because a person acts bravely and courageously doesn't mean what they do is the right thing and is a smart move. And if opposition wants to win, they should at least prove to us how the glorification of courage actually improves people's self-esteem and reduces certain stigma in society. And there will be 2 questions I'll answer in this speech. Number 1, the long-term consequences of this glorification in society and which side better improve people's mental state. And secondly, other trait that should be paid attention to, such as empathy and moral reasoning. A couple of laws made by opposition. First of all, they just completely admit the fact that there are many types of harmful glorification of courage, and we should try to glorify the correct courage, which is totally bizarre and nothing relevant to this debate at all, because we don't think how society can eventually do that, because ideas can spread and change and shift depending on how people think of it. And second, they never said to us or prove how this glorification has any impact to the people at all. Now let's come to the main clashes in this debate, and I'll prove to you why our team should take the win. Number 1 is that which sides can boost people's self-esteem, right? Because courage still happens in the status quo. Whether we like it or not, the problem here is that society makes courage the ultimate goal, way above reasoning, empathy, and other important traits. And the most important thing should not be about telling people to stand up and fight whenever they feel like it. For instance, when their kids is being bullied, parents do not tell kids to go and fight back with the bullies to act as a brave person. Instead, they show their kids the importance of resilience and what to do during these circumstances. Fear and anxiety should not be seen as weak and vulnerable. Rather, society should normalize it and educate kids how to cope with these feelings effectively rather than glorifying courage and tell people to act brave. Why then is this important? Number 1, fear and empathy as well as other traits show people that life can be hard and one needs to learn how to cope with it. By then, the other side is just basically raising their generation and teach them to suppress their emotions and avoid actual feelings, the very thing that society needs for active cooperation. For instance, further stereotypes can be emphasized. For example, boys and men are told to act brave and courageous and should not show weakness. This in turn leads to toxic masculinity and further emphasizes stereotype that is happening in society, and this is exactly what side opposition is doing. And instead of showing and emphasizing courage in society, we should solve problems right from the core and help people realize the endless possibilities that they can achieve for what they're good at. Now, what has opposition told us? First of all, opposition said that this is just simply a social admiration for meaningful bravery acts. However, social media, as we have said, spreads the word very fast, and it's not just simply an admiration, but society by then enforces it for something individuals should do to prove their worthiness. Because just like any kind of glorification, emphasizing something too much is actually harmful, because the same goes to stigmatization and other types of admiration and glorification. For example, the stigma against laziness forces people to believe, to prove themselves worthy and that they must not rest, and one act of wrongful behavior will have consequences. This is not the case, and it's not just simply social admiration. Second of all, they told us that society needs courage to progress, but in the status quo, as we have said, we already have courage. It's just a matter of who, like which person can do this or not. And they also talk about to glorify the correct courage, and they have said this right from first to second speaker. Let me tell you, it's not about the correct courage, since notions and ideologies can shift and change over time, because what is intended to be good will eventually shift the focus and have bad consequences on the public and society. Even if this is true, which it is not, the glorification will still have an impact on viewers, because for example, the intended thing, like let's take the example of teachers who want to teach their student a lesson by giving too many homework. Even though this is intended to be good, but over time, it will have a bad effect on the kids and they don't feel up to studying anymore. The same goes to this glorification, as we have told you, right? Because our team specifically mentioned the fact on how like self-esteem is important, and if like the goal from both sides, as have been observed throughout this debate, is that which side can actually boost a person's self-esteem. And to do that, we need to solve problem right from the core, and just simply glorify courage will not do anything. On the other side, we have seen none goals, and they haven't proved to us what their goals actually are. Proud to propose.